Just quickly, if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe and hit the notification bell. I post a new Tom Brady video every day. Then when he looks up from his bed to his left side, he sees the owner, Robert Kraft, he sees the head coach, Bill Belichick, and he sees the rookie, Tommy Brady, standing over him like these three almost like mythical figures. Like, what are they doing here? And it's an incredible moment. And they're looking down at him. And I used it because at that moment, nobody in their right mind would have predicted that those three guys, Kraft, Belichick, and Brady, were going to become the nucleus of the greatest American sports dynasty of the century. Because at that moment, the owner had never won a championship. The coach, Bill Belichick, had a career losing record. He didn't have a winning record at that point. And Tom Brady had never started a game. And so the idea that the three of those guys were going to become what they became would have been unthinkable in that moment. And so it's almost like Bledsoe saw the future but didn't realize what he was seeing. American football does have a tradition that when a team wins a championship, it's the owner of the team that typically is handed the trophy first. And then tradition is the owner then hands it to the coach, and the coach usually hands it to the quarterback. And the Patriots have certainly followed that tradition. But I think what gets lost in our American tradition is that the role of the owner is not as obvious to fans.
What's your formula in terms of how you keep this organization on track and moving on no matter what the distraction may be?
Yeah, well, continuity, in life, it's very simple for me. I try to stay with high-quality people. I think of him, that skinny young man coming down the steps of the old stadium with the pizza box and introducing himself to me and said, "Hi, Mr. Kraft, I want to introduce myself. I'm Tom Brady." I said, "I know who you are. You're our sixth-round draft choice." And I always remember he looked me like a laser, eye to eye, and he said, "That's right, and I'm the best decision this organization has ever made."
The role of the head coach and the quarterback is easy to see because one of them is wearing a helmet and the other one's wearing a headset, and they're on the field for every game and they're on television. And Brady and Belichick, deservingly so, have been at the forefront of the credit in New England for the last 20 years.
What do you think Bill's legacy would be?
Oh, he's the GOAT of coaches.
I love Bill Belichick with all my heart and all my soul. I think arguably he probably is the best head coach, college pro, in the history of coaching.
Bill Belichick is 144 games over 500 for his career, which means he could lose every game from now until week 8 of the 2029 season and still have a winning record. 0-17 all these years in a row, and he would still have a winning record.
Probably more than any other American sports team, the role of the owner has been incredibly critical to the championships, and yet it's been so understated and misunderstood. And if I could sum it up, one of the most interesting things that was said to me in all of the interviews I did for this book was I interviewed Rupert Murdoch, the CEO and founder of Fox News. And Rupert said to me, what was very interesting, he said, the thing about Robert Kraft is he's the ultimate diplomat. If he had gone into politics, he would have gone down in history as one of the greatest diplomats in American history. But he went into other businesses like sports. His diplomacy, his ability to keep Bill Belichick and Tom Brady married and performing together for 20 years is the greatest achievement of his ownership tenure. There's no doubt.
Bill Belichick and Tom Brady won 30 playoff games together. Now, you know that's the most by a coach-quarterback tandem. Do you want to hear how wide the margin is? Again, Belichick and Brady won 30 together. Next on the list are Chuck Nolan, Terry Bradshaw, and then Tom Landry and Roger Staubach. They're second and third on the list. If you add up their totals, they combined for 25. So they combined Nolan Bradshaw, Landry, and Staubach combined to win 25 playoff games together. Belichick and Brady themselves won 30. It's impossible.
Robert Kraft will go down in history as one of the greatest owners ever.
Because it's what's enabled this dynasty to live longer than any football dynasty in the history of American sport before. So it's 100 years of time, and the Patriots have gone for 20 years. Usually, football dynasties in the United States last 10 years at the most.
You know, the fact that Bill and Tommy are together for 19 years is, first, you know what it's like in the locker room and egos.
You get tired of each other once in a while, yes.
Well, I'll let you say that.
I get tired of Bill once in a while, yes.
No, I thought you always used to bring him roses and that warm feeling. But, you know, the job of ownership is to keep continuity when you have something good. I think some people just make change for change's sake, and I have a rule: we never break something down unless we can put something better in its place. And the Belichick-Brady combo has been pretty good, and I think as an organization, going back to what you said of putting distractions aside, or whether it's the media or just normal events, everyone checks their ego at the front door and puts team first.
No man is more important than a team. Team.
The New England Patriots.
Team. We gotta enjoy the journey. We gotta enjoy the process. We gotta enjoy the grind each and every day.
It's really just about the relationships, you know. It's about, you know, the people that I play for, the people that I play with. I think I came into a great situation here. I think there's been a great coach, a great owner, and great teammates. How do you find balance? It's to live in the present.
I liken Brady and Belichick to John Lennon and Paul McCartney. And they stayed together, as we know, for less than a decade. They were the greatest band ever, but they couldn't share the same stage for very long. I see Belichick and Brady that way. And the mastery of Kraft's ownership is he figured out a way to keep them together for 20 years. And as a result, they won so many more championships than any other team.
What's the skill that allows him to do that, do you think?
So there's two facets to it in this case. In the case of Belichick and Brady, it's number one, appreciating and understanding that the coach you've selected, by the way, a coach that no one else wanted, he picked Belichick when he didn't have a winning record and didn't have a resume for winning as a head coach. He gave him a lot of power and authority to run the team, and Belichick delivered very early and started winning championships. So on Belichick's side, it's delegation. It's delegating authority to him and then allowing him to exercise that authority without interference. That takes a lot of discipline. Most owners aren't disciplined enough to do that, especially when the head coach is making decisions that are unpopular and may be counter to what you think he should be doing. Kraft has been a master at self-discipline and allowing Belichick to operate the way he needs to. On the Brady side of the ledger, I think it's building a personal relationship. This relationship that he has with Tom Brady has become familial. In other words, it's like a father and a son, and it's genuine. It's not fabricated. It's real, and it's been built over a 20-year span. And so these are two guys who actually use the four-letter word LOVE with each other all the time. They love each other as if he is another father figure or if he is another son in the family.
What if you could share at all with us what Mr. Kraft told you about what he expected or what he was feeling?
They have a special relationship. I think RKK and Tom, the relationship they have is basically like RKK considers him another son, and that's how strongly he feels about it. I mean, Tom's whole family came up. They took care of him. They put him in a box. It's things like that. So there's a lot of emotions in terms of, man, I wish you were still here, but we know how moving on was something that had to happen.
Who are you rooting for in the Super Bowl?
Well, I'm rooting for Tom Brady. I'm so excited. We've had some great communications, and he is such a special human being, and we were privileged to have him here for 2 decades, and he's one of the finest human beings I've ever met. He knows how to lead, and I wish him well, and I really hope he wins Sunday.
That relationship is what helped keep Tom Brady in New England for so much longer than he probably would have been without that relationship. That's it for this video. I post a new Tom Brady video every day, so please like and subscribe. That way you'll always have a new Tom Brady video to watch every single day. Thanks for watching.